Hello, welcome. Thanks for coming along. Make sure you say good day in the live chat. I have to keep an eye on that because sometimes it disconnects from my side, so I've got to swap it over to a floating chat. But if you're there, say good day and let me know. Mac, Us, good to see you. Nice and early in UK. Felt fantastic. Good way to start the day. Okay, so today we're probably going, well, who knows? I can talk underwater, but we could go a whole hour. But I've got a feeling we go a little bit less than an hour today because I wanted to run through a few ideas. Daniel, hey man, good to see you. And Christina, welcome aboard. Hi. Now I want to run through a few exercises that you might be able to introduce in your training, particularly in your warm-up. And also I want to cover Tensho kata, but look, Tensho kata is a lifetime thing. That, as you know, that was Solsai's favorite kata. Ed, Rob, welcome aboard. Good to see you. Solsai's favorite kata, and also Shihan Bobby Lowe once told me, which was very moving when he told me. He said he never missed a day of doing Tensho. And I said, what about you when you were sick? And he said sometimes when he was too sick to get out of bed, he would close his eyes and do it mentally. That's how dedicated he was to doing this kata. Now, when I wrote that book of mine back in '87, I mentioned in it that the Tensho kata was designed as the yin or the soft side of the yang Sanchin. Now, people don't really understand a lot of what that means. So today I want to show you how that soft movement generates a lot of power in what Solsai called the circle and point. And if there is one thing that differentiates Kyokushin from many other styles, it's that concept of circular motion and circle and point. Often Kyokushin is described as a hard style. Well, traditionally a hard style is a straight line style and a soft style is a circular style. So in many respects, Kyokushin is actually a soft style. It's just that the tournaments, because they are hard, it has that reputation of being a hard style. We train hard, we fight hard, but we do that from a platform of balance between yin and yang, or balance between soft movement, giving movement, and hard movement. James, hope you and Maddie are there. Good to see you. Sensei Luis, oh, how good to see you. Us, good to see you, Sensei. Nice to come along. Nice to have you along. I still remember very fondly that training session we did together at your dojo back in Vegas. In fact, it was one of the highlights of Vegas, funnily enough. Okie doke. So we're going to start off now with a warm-up, and I'll introduce a few other exercises for you as we do this, and I hope you enjoy those exercises. Maybe you know them already. A couple of them originate in Indian yoga. I'm not a hatha yoga expert. In fact, if you go online and look these up amongst hatha yoga experts, you'll see how they do it very, very beautifully. For me, I'm just showing you how we can incorporate it into our karate training. Raj, Us, Namaste, all the way from Nepal. Happy Easter, everybody. It's an Easter weekend, but this will have to be the quietest Easter any time in history when you think about it, because we're all confined at home doing the right thing and trying to make sure we maintain that social distancing. Make sure you do that, guys. The only way we're going to beat this virus timely is if we respect how effective it is to maintain social distancing and stay at home. This is why we're here online, because we have plenty of time at home, and it's a great opportunity to develop some skills. Okay, so let's get started with a bit of a warm-up. Everybody ready? I'll just adjust that, not so you can see my short belt and big belly, even though you can see that too. I'm going to adjust it so you can see my doing the exercise there. Okie doke. Beautiful. Okay, knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hante, ich, ni, san, shi. Squatting. Ich, ni, san. Let the lower back stretch. Try to get the heels on the ground. Push the bum down and the head up. And stretching up. Ich, me, she. Squatting down. Nice and stretched. Stretch the lower back, especially if you're over 40. Perhaps your lower back starts to tighten and your neck starts to tighten. So be very, very conscious of fixing that up. Hands down, stretching up. Ich, me, she. Double shoulder width. Then one leg. Ich, me, she. Go. If you're not over 40, if you're quite young, make sure that forward. It's me, she. And around with the toes in the air. As far as possible, get the calf muscle on the ground, get the heels on the ground and open the hip abductors. Push your knee out nice and wide. There, like that. Relax as you go down. We did our deck of cards this morning. I have to say I'm having a little trouble with the upload. Swap legs. It seems the area that I'm in particularly my house, is in a little bit of a dead zone because I had the neighbor come over and bring their modem, and I tried it in my house and I was only getting a fraction of the speed for the uploads. So this is why I'm having trouble. It's taking me 6-7 hours just to upload a single video. Today I'm trying to upload Wednesday's video, deck of cards, yesterday's deck of cards, and today's deck of cards. It's going to take me all day. And around. Okay, hip flexors. Remember, we have to highlight this area here, the hip flexors. The hip flexors are the muscles that bend the leg up, and they're the ones that we need. We need optimal range of motion and flexibility to get power in our kicks. But unfortunately, most of the traditional exercises in karate underdo the importance of this. So we push that forward, try to stretch forward, don't lean on the knee, push off the knee. So your back goes back, and the back hand you can take up and stretch through like that. And around, so the toes are in the air. Once again, find your balance. Elbow on the inside of the knee. Legs, toes in the air, heel on the ground. Try to get that calf muscle down as much as you can, all the way to the ground there. Good, legs straight. Pull to the right. Now remember, sometimes rather than take the count, when you're running a dojo, when you're running a class, it's very hard to do it any other way other than to count so everybody stays together. But when you're training by yourself, rather than do stretching to the count, do stretching to the number of breaths. Always try to hold it for a minimum of 3 breaths. I find if you hold it for 5 to 6 breaths, you'll often get a release in the fascia and the muscles, and you'll get an opening of the stretch. Okay, the other side now. So try that, just relax, breathe normally, and pull down as you breathe out. Good, take both feet, pull the head down. Good, nice and wide, sitting back, hand to the side, ich, me, san, she. Now hold it, breathing out, and breathe in. Now just coordinate the breath with the stretch. Remember, I use the acronym GRAB, G-R-A-B, grab a stretch. Anytime you can, you grab a stretch. GRAB stands for gaze. Why gaze? Because if I'm stretching here but looking somewhere else, I can pull a muscle somewhere in my body because I'm taking certain areas of my body to their maximum range of motion and a little bit beyond. So I need to make sure that my gaze is in the correct place. And every stretch has a correct gaze. For this one, I want to be looking straight over my toes. Whenever you're stretching towards a leg, your gaze should be straight over the toes, and that aligns everything. And let's go the other side now. Once again, the gaze. The R stands for relaxation. So you relax into the stretch. The A stands for alignment. So it means everything is aligned properly. You don't want to have your foot bending over here. We were talking last week about whether we point the toes or pull the toes back. Dancers point the toes because dance requires them to have a good point. For us, it's not as important to have that point, but you can still stretch like that by all means. Otherwise, in karate, we tend to flex the ankle and pull the toes back. And relax. You folks in the Northern Hemisphere heading towards summer, we're heading towards winter. We've got a 13 degrees tomorrow here, which doesn't sound like much if you're from Montreal, but it's very cold for us. Okay, going forward now, once again, coordinating with your breath. So the B in grab, of course, stands for breath. So for this one, I like to breathe in and spider fingers out. Then when I breathe out, I just relax and go down. Breathe in, crawl my fingers out. Breathe out, relax and down. And relax. Good. That's a nice stretch. It never hurts when you stretch forward to complement it with a stretch back. And I'm going to show you a good yoga stretch, which includes a nice forward and back flow as you do it. Okay. Legs straight. Hold your toes if you can, going forward. Breathing in. And relax. Shake it off. Standing up. I'll show you a couple of movements later on the ground for stand-up fighters. Okay, so over time, as I introduce more of these videos, I'll be constantly talking about the 5 ranges. And if you've ever trained with me, I know Daniel and a few of the lads who have been at the seminars have trained with me, you know that for me, what is central to my movement is the 5 ranges. And those 5 ranges, I'm going to get a little closer because I can see there's some comments coming. I'll get a little closer here. Boss, Paddy, nice to see you. And Harry, welcome aboard. Alan, Gaming Stars. I'm not too sure who that is, but if you're a nice guy, you're welcome. Okay, so I'm always talking about the 5 ranges, and we transition from the kick range to the punch range to the elbow range to the stand-up grapple and to the ground, and we have to be conscious of how to use those 5 ranges in everything we do. And one of the ranges you might find yourself in is on the ground, and you need to be able to get up in a safe way. Us, Chrissy, good to see you, buddy. Us. We need to be able to get up in a very safe way, okay? But before we get there, I'm just going to continue on with a stretch. I'm just going to show you now that yoga stretch. It's a great little stretch that you can do in the mornings, and it will help your overall flexibility. It's a form of what they call Surya Namaskar, which means the greet the sun. So if you've seen the sun salutation, or it's often called greet the sun, it's just a flow which allows you to stretch all the muscles through the body. So we'll run through that now. I just got to get this angle right. How's that? There we go. Okay, so it's a constant flow of bending forward and back whenever you bend forward, you breathe out. Whenever you bend up or back, you breathe in. So I'll call the breathing so you can get that correct, and join with me if you can. Okay, I'll do it on the side so you can see the angles. First of all, we're going to stretch the arms up and reach as high as we can as we breathe in. And breathe out. Take the hands down as far as you can. Keep the hands down with the head up. Breathe in. Good neck stretch. Hold the breath. Push up position. Breathe out. Roll my toes under and breathe in as I stretch back. That's a good counter stretch. I'm breathing in there. Breathe out. We hold this for a few breaths. Just let the breath go easily. And notice I don't want to be like this. I want to lengthen and lengthen and lengthen. Let my head dangle. I'm looking between my ankles. And I push so that I get a nice length from my hands to my butt. Breathe in and out nice and softly. You can put your heels on the ground, that's great. If you can't, it doesn't matter. Just slowly work them down. It's not as important as you may think. It's just find a position that roots you to the ground nicely. Breathe in. Breathe out. Coming forward, breathing in and breathing out here. Breathe in and out. I'm talking too much. I've got the breath a bit mixed up there. Let's do it again. In. Out. In. Hold. Out. In. Out. Hold the position. Breathe gently. Let the neck go soft. Use this as an opportunity to stretch the neck using gravity. Breathe in and out. In and out. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in and out. In. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll do that one again. My bad. In. Out. I'm sorry. Hold. Go down. Okay, look, I'm going to start that again. I'm thinking of what I'm saying too much. Normally you don't have to talk. Can we start that one again? So, breathing in. Out. In. Hold. Out. In. Out. Hold the position. Breathe naturally. Breathe in and out. In and out. So it's a great exercise you can do, especially in the morning. It'll help to open everything up for you and makes the body nice and loose, stretches all the muscles in the body. And Richard, Sensei Richard from Hawaii. Namaste. We were just talking about Shihan Bobby Low before you got here. And I'm sure you do stretch every day. Richard, Sensei Richard Kimura from Hawaii is a very good friend and was a very good friend of Shihan Bobby Low's. Okie doke. As we go on now, I just wanted to introduce a couple of exercises that you might have done. If you have, great. If you haven't, you might enjoy them, and especially enjoy teaching them in your class. In my class, any of the kids who are from my dojo here, there's Maddie and James, and they'll tell you that we always finish the class with a series of animal-style movements. And this one, today I'm going to show you two animals. One you might be familiar with. Two, you might know the movement, but know it as a different name. We call it monkey number 2. We have 4 different monkey exercises. This one's monkey number 2. And it's a really good exercise for flexibility, coordination, and strength. Okay, so I'll get in position here. Monkey number 2 is simply, I'm coming down and I'm putting my hands down forward and kicking my leg to one side. Now, if you can see, the only thing that is touching is my left foot and my right hand. Now, that becomes very important in another movement that I'm going to show you a little later. But for now, we treat it as an exercise, and it's a good strengthening exercise and coordination. Then I switch sides. Switch over to here. Switch over to here. Left leg, the left foot, right hand. Right, left hand. See that foot's off the ground? It's the other one underneath that's on the ground. Switch over. Switch over. Switch over. Switch over. Itch. Meet. Thump. Shake. Go. Go. That's monkey number 2. It's a great exercise. We can go across the floor. So if you watch at the beginning of class, we move across the floor with a little jump. 1, 2. Jump. 1, 2. Jump. 1, 2. And that's a great way to warm up by moving across the dojo floor. Okay, now, what I'm going to talk about now is simply the importance of knowing how to get up off the mat if you get caught. And when I talk about the 5 ranges, probably one of the more dangerous ranges for a stand-up fighter is the ground. Many years ago, I had the great opportunity to spend a bit of time training with Randy Couture, Frank Trigg, Dan Henderson. Spent a lot of time with them over different periods in Los Angeles. And Randy had a fight coming up. You can see it on the internet, against a fighter named James Toney. James Toney was one of the best knockout boxers in the world. Has a great knockout record. You can look him up online. His name is spelt Tony. So if you do a search, Randy Couture versus James Toney. Now, James Toney had knocked a lot of fighters out. His philosophy against fighting Randy was that Randy had never been hit hard. So once he hits Randy, Randy's going to really know what a hard puncher feels like. Randy's fight strategy was he can't hit what he can't reach. And this is the concept of footwork. And I always say that Mike Tyson can't knock me out because he's 10,000 miles away. But if he used some footwork and came within range, big different story. Well, it was the same with Randy. So Randy's entire strategy for the fight was simply to change levels, go in low, or what we call a low single, take him to the ground and finish him. If you watch the fight, that's exactly what happened. So James Toney's philosophy was, great, if you hit me, if I get you, I'm going to knock you out. Randy's philosophy was, I'm just not going to let you hit me. Many years ago, when I first started training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I had an interesting experience with Carlos Machado, one of the finest teachers in the world, and also a very nice man. And he said to me once after a session, he says, you karate guys can hit and punch hard, better than us. He says, the thing is this, if we were in a situation and you hit me or punched me, all power to you, you knock me out. He said, but you only get one chance to do that. And if you miss that chance to hit or punch me, it's 100% guaranteed you'll lose the fight. Now, things have changed. That was about 1995 he said that. But things have changed now because every style is becoming more conscious of other styles, which takes me back to Salso. Salso said nobody should call himself a martial artist unless he is aware and of the principles of other fighting arts. So this is why he wrote a lot about grappling and having to deal with on the ground. So I'm going to show you a couple of important things to deal with on the ground in an exercise that you can use. The first one is a bridge motion. Now, if someone is on top of you, you need to have a good bridge. It's a little bit different to a wrestling bridge. Wrestlers get a nice high bridge. In fact, it's probably even a little bit different to a judo bridge. But the point of it is you want to get your hips high so that you can move their weight off to one side. Now, to move off to the one side, it means you can't have your weight on the back of the head. So what we do is move our head. Just take our ear to our shoulder, and then we look in the direction of the throw. Okay, so I'm just going to show that to you now, and I want you to follow along the best you can because this is a very valuable movement to introduce in a warm-up, especially when you're training by yourself at home. Okay, so there's a few movements involved. The first thing to remember is I want to bring my toes in as close as I can. Okay? If I'm going to bridge you, well, let's go this way so you can see it. I'm going to bridge this way. It means I drop one leg to the ground and already see how that changes the angle of my body. So if I'm going to go left, I drop my left knee down. That's all there is to it. Drop my left knee. Now I move my head in the opposite direction as I look to the left. See that? I don't want to just look there because I'll still have my head on the ground. I need to keep my head out of it. So drop my leg down, move my head away from that direction, but look in that direction. And where the eyes go, the body will follow. Just the same as you can control a man's head, you can control his whole body. Well, if you think about it in karate too, where your eyes go, that is where your energy is going. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, to go left, keep my elbows next to my body, drop my knee, look to the left, and then I'm going to bridge my hips up till I'm just about to go over. And then this bottom leg takes over, and I finish at a 90-degree angle. You see that? So, from the other side now, I bring my feet as close as I can. Elbows in. I'm going to my right this time, so it means I drop my right leg. I move my head to the left, but look to the right, so I want to look up there. Now, as I bridge, I use the top leg for power. Bridge up. And just when my body's about to change angle, I use the bottom leg to come around. Okay, so let me do that a couple of times so you can see how it looks when you're doing it at normal speed. I finish looking straight at my opponent. So you can almost combine that actually with the monkey number 2 movement we just did. So we come here, I bridge up, turn around, step through, and I'm facing the other side. Again, drop my leg, bridge up, change angles, monkey two, and I continue on. So that bridging motion is very powerful if you practice that over time. And that's particularly good when someone is sitting on top of you in a mount position. Okay? I'm going to high until their body weight starts to go. And then I change angles so they're underneath me. What you do after that is up to you. There's 1,000 different follow-ons. It depends where the weight is and everything. But that's a really, really valuable motion. The next thing I want to work on is what we call the safe stand-up. So all my dojo students who are watching, you know what I mean by the safe stand-up. Often it's called the technical stand-up as well in grappling. But the whole idea of it is a way to stand up without putting your head in danger. So I can be here like this. Let me just, rather than sit straight, I'll sit at an angle so you can see. Now, I have my legs crossed. I'll swap legs so you can see because I'll go your direction. I tip that knee up. See that? That's all I do. So my right leg is in front. All I do is I tip my right knee up, my left knee down, and my left hand goes to the mat. Okay? There's another very important point here, which is often overlooked, is I like to connect my elbow and my knee. Okay? I tip, cross over there like that. So I have my elbow and knee, and that way if someone tries to kick me or punch me, I'm in a position to block it. Okay? So that's the first stage. When someone's aggressing you, you're sitting down, they're standing up. I tip to the side. Now what this lets me do is what we did in monkey number 2 earlier. I can now lift my whole body off the ground. So all I have on the ground is my works the same way on the other side. Up and up. Up with the front knee, elbow connected, lifting up. Now from there, you'll know that when you normally get up in the usual way, your head comes forward. And the whole idea of this safe stand-up is to avoid your head coming forward into danger. Okay? And as a karate fighter, we're pretty confident on our feet, but sometimes if we get caught sitting down or on the mat, we need to relearn whole systems of how to approach that. So what we're going to do now, we tip. All I have now is my left foot and my right hand taking my weight. I can lift my backside off the ground just like that. So that's a good way to start the drill. 1 and back. 1, back. 1, up. 1, up. Good. Now we swap sides. 1. We tip this way. Up. 1, up. Notice I lift my backside off the ground. Tipping up. Okay. Now, when we want to get out of there, all we do is we simply kick backwards. Tip, elbow, knee connected. Tip, that protects me. And as I lift my bum, I'm going to kick my leg back. And you notice then I can get up without having to take my head forward. Once again, let me do it that angle. I tip up. I lift my backside and I kick backwards so I'm out of range. One last time. Later on, if you can review the video, check the technique. It's very, very important. Very simple, but very profoundly successful. First thing is, I'm sitting cross-legged. When I see the danger approach, I casually tip to one side with my elbow and knee connected. Why do I do that? Because if I have it anywhere else, I'm in danger. If my knee and elbow aren't connected, if I lift my hand up, it seems like I'm being a little overly wary, and that may change the person's approach to you. But if I just simply have my elbow resting on my knee and I tip here, it's very, very non-aggressive, but it's a very powerful position. By connecting my knee and elbow now, I create a wall. See that? From here all the way up to the top of my head, I have a strong wall of defense. Okay? Seeing 1. When he encroaches towards me, 2, and tip. So now I have my hand back, my foot down, and my elbow on my knee. 3, I lift my backside off the ground. Okay? And 4, I kick back. And you'll notice if I do it from the side, notice where my head is. Let's say it's in line with that line on the mat. When I come up, if I come up normally, you'll notice how my head comes forward. I don't want to do that because I don't want to go forward into an attack. So all I do is watch my head. Notice how it doesn't go forward. It simply goes back. 1, I lift my bum. 2, that's where my head was. And 3, I can go straight back. 1, 2, 3. And into your partner. Okay, so that's a really, really powerful, interesting skill to practice. You do enough of them, it's great for fitness. Same with the bridge. As we go on, I'll introduce a few other really, really valuable techniques for the ground to help you not necessarily become a grappler. The great Gene LaBelle, one of the great grapplers. If you're not familiar with Gene, look him up. He's a legend. He probably is arguably the first professional MMA fight. He fought a boxer named Milo Savage in 1963. He was a judo player, a wrestler and judo player, and he fought Milo Savage in 1963. Judo, Gene LaBelle, I've had an honor. Was Frederick? Yes, indeed. I had the honor of training with Gene LaBelle quite a number of times, and he's a very, very wonderful, humble man who just happens to be one of the worst, toughest guys on the planet. Now, he asked me, how would you beat Mike Tyson? And in my good martial arts brain, I'm thinking, how would I slip that uppercut or that right? I said, I don't know how. And he said, badminton, tennis, anything you want, just don't try and beat him at boxing. So his principle behind that is when you fight a wrestler, don't try and wrestle the wrestler. When you fight a boxer, don't try and outbox a boxer. And this is so important that you have a clear understanding of movement and transition across all the 5 ranges, from the kick range, the punch range, the headbutt elbow range, stand-up grapple, and the ground grapple. And you have to be sufficiently safe in all of those. You don't have to be the best grappler in the world. You simply have to have a very sound, solid repertoire of techniques that will allow you to escape and stay safe, escape that position, and get back up on your feet. If you can't do that, as Solsai wrote in his book, This is Karate, chapter 15, if a judo player or a wrestler takes you to the ground and you don't know what to do, you're in big trouble. Okay, so this is why it's such a valuable thing to gradually include these sort of concepts into your training. You don't have to be the best wrestler. You simply have to know how to survive and get back up again. Okay, so take a minute, grab a whole kata. If you know it, you know it, and I might do a few at the end. But what I want to do is simply develop the concept of Sanchin, Tensho being the yang and the yin kata of karate. As you know, Sanchin is a very hard kata, and Tensho can become hard for some people, but it should have this feeling of softness, okay? And it literally is almost like Tai Chi in many respects, okay? But how do we do that? That's the catch. And when we learn the kata, what often we do is we learn the movements in a very stilted, numbered, step-by-step way. We come out, and we do this sort of thing. And what that does is it develops a hardness which you don't need. It's like you have soft, hard, like an ECG. Bang, bang. So you go soft, hard, soft, hard, soft, hard. We want to try and avoid that. And the way you develop that is to work on the techniques coming off the spine. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that now, but it doesn't mean that the kata is necessarily done that way what it means is the Tensho movement is based on that principle. So if you watch what I do here, I simply soften. Just like a boxer, when he's warming up, he softens. A boxer doesn't warm up by trying to go hard. When he's in the ring, a good friend and former student, Tyrone Cyclone Tongia, retired Australian light middleweight boxing champion. I knew when he was an Uchideshi that he had a calling with the fists, and sure enough, he went on, became a great undefeated pro champion. Boxers warm up by developing that softness. We need that in karate. Too many karate guys never get the connection between the hara, tanden, the lat, the elbow, the wrist. You've got to get that relaxation. Now we can develop that through Tensho. And here's what we do in Tensho. We simply relax. Relax the shoulders, take a breath, and just as you breathe out, relax. It's almost like you round your back. There's good posture. Up at the perineum, up at the diaphragm, up at the chin. That's not what I mean by up. That releases this concave. You want to create the concave by lifting. Okay, that's the normal posture. What we do in this exercise now is we breathe in and just soften that. So we just soften everything. And then we simply turn around the spine. I don't consciously move my arms. My spinal turning is what moves my arms. This is one of the concepts that Solso was very adamant about, circle and point. The circle generates from an infinite point within yourself, and you turn around the spine. And we're conscious of one thing only, and that is maintaining relaxation through the shoulders and body. This movement here. This is a great way to warm up in the morning when you get up early and you want to unwind your stiffness. Just do some gentle spinal twists like this. Very little tension. Just relax. Just relax. Just relax. And I know all you hard, tough Kyokushin fighters are going, get onto the fight techniques, but I can tell you now, if you want a long career in the martial arts, you have to get your Sanchin and Tensho right, because they'll be what is with you right to the end. Not the left, right, thigh kick, drop him down with a roundhouse kick. All that goes. What stays with you is the kata. Okay? Now, how do we take this movement and apply it to, I'm going to have a quick look. Now, how do we take that movement and apply it to Tensho? Well, let me show you. This is what I teach anyway. Whether it works for you is up to you. All I'm doing through these series is showing you principles that I've worked on over the years. And I'm hoping that you take them and find something good in them for you. Okay, so what I do with that movement now, let's look at the Sanchin, the Tensho kata. We break out. And there's the one motion. Tensho means turning palms. Ten, kaiten, sho, shote no sho. Tensho, turning palms or turning hands. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So that movement there can be followed by a strike. But in the kata, we bring it back with another. We turn, bring it back, and then turn into the strike. Block 1, block 2, turn into the strike. Block 1, block 2, turn into the strike. Koken up, strike. Down, koken out, strike. Now, how do we use that initial motion to apply correct coordination in the body? Well, this time I want you to throw away formal technique, and I want you to feel the application of this movement. See that movement? So here's the Tensho movement. Here's my body doing that Tensho movement. Like this. Tensho in. Okay? I turn in and then I come back again. So I'm using my spine now I'm using a centripetal sort of force where I'm actually driving my arms through the application of my spine. See, like that. Now, here's where I'm really constantly intrigued by the connections in Kyokushin. And I don't know, I'm not saying it's not in other styles. I just haven't spent enough time training in other styles to be able to say. But in Kyokushin, we have this endless connection of circle and point based on 3+1 kata. So 3 movements. Watch the circle here. Enke gyatsuki. Enke gyatsuki. It's not here. It's not a straight line. It's a circle. This is the area that I'm conscious of because that's where the danger is coming. So that's where the circle is. Enke gyatsuki. Enke gyatsuki. Enke gyatsuki is using that circle and point and developing movement across the floor. Movement across the floor. Mawashi uke. Same thing. Look. Enke gyatsuki. Mawashi uke. Same movement. Okinawan styles will do nice, short, very practical movements. Enke gyatsuki and Shito Mawashi uke and Kyokushin. I'm sorry, Mawashi uke and Kyokushin, the circle is larger. Now, can you see the similarity between this and the Tensho movement? 1 and 2. It's exactly the same. They're connected through the connection of the spinal axis. Okay? Tensho. Mawashi uke. And the last one is Shito Mawashi uke. There. Make the movement large. Don't cut it here and shoot out. It's not shuto uchi. It's not a knife hand strike as done in perhaps Shotokan. And again, never quote me on any of those styles because the only other style I've spent any time in is Goju. But all styles are fluent. All forms are fluent. All styles have strengths. All styles have weaknesses because of those strengths. Okay? Shito Mawashi uke. Big circle around. See that movement? Big circle around. Enke gyatsuki. Enke gyatsuki. Shito Mawashi uke. Mawashi uke. Mawashi uke. Someone comes in, there's the block. Mawashi uke. Someone comes in, there's the Tensho movement. The Tensho is connected to Mawashi, is connected to Shuto Mawashi, is connected to Enke gyatsuki. Once you realize that the connection happens in the spine, then a lot of these movements start to make more and more sense. So there's that spinal twist with the relaxed shoulders, and then we apply that to Tensho. See how my shoulders are turning around my spine. I use that motion for Tensho there. Now in the kata, of course, it's 1, 2, 3, like this. But in a real situation, you're never going to rest the hand here unless you are pulling up, restraining someone with a technique or you wanted to control. Whenever there's a retraction of 2 hands in a kata, my philosophy is there's a break of balance. I grab. See, there's a Tensho again. And the Tensho may not be a block. It may be a grab. When I have my 2 hands together and I want to break their balance, I pull those 2 hands together. 1, those movement coming back is what allows me to break their balance. So Tensho, we have the blocks, but we also have balance breaks. There's the block. And I did a whole bunch of shoots in about January, I think, just before the COVID-19. And we're developing those now, and I'm going to put some great videos up on YouTube. But we did a lot of this sort of thing. We have the block. We also have the Tensho block and lock. We also have the Tensho moving the body, all off a spinal twist. If you try to do the Tensho without centering it on the spine, you're going to run into problems. The body generates a lot more power than the arm. So with the Tensho, you'll develop that feeling here. See that movement? Tensho. Look. There. And Tensho has palm heel, shote. It has Koken. Koken is, I think, probably one of the most underestimated techniques in karate. and especially for Solsai. Solsai said it was his favorite street fighting technique. And I analyzed that. I thought about that a lot. And I realized what he meant is that in a normal situation, if you can imagine that I'm shaping up and I can throw my punches straight at the target there, okay? If I block here, there's my technique. If I block here, there's my technique. But in a street fight, what if I want to get behind him? What if the technique forces me to take my hands right across? It's not a tournament where the rules are set and the referee is there to help you, okay? I can do this all day, block, block, punch, punch, boom, and it's just a battle of who can be sneakier to get that knockout blow in. In a street fight, it's not. You're bringing everything into play. You're using a lot of what you can. Your techniques come up. We call this the kunku motion. What the kunku is actually a Tensho motion doubled. See, one, two, da, da, ba, 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 ba. Left hand. And then we do two hands. Look, first thing that happens is from Tensho, for the third group of movements where you do it together, the hands rise up. The hands rise up. I'll tell you a story about Solsai describing that exact movement to me once. But the hands come up together. If you can basically maintain your hands together in a nice flowing way with Koken, it's a very hard gate to penetrate in a street fighting technique. Now, where does the Koken come to play? If I block here and I want to hit, I can go there. But what if I block all the way over there and I can no longer use this hand quickly? I'm not going to have time to turn around and hit. That's where Koken comes in. Whatever I block takes, and then I can come straight back with Koken. Block it to the side, come back with Koken. So it's really very practical for when your technique over there, the defense doesn't allow you to counter quickly with a punch. Here, maybe I've gone back. This punching hand is just too far away from the target, okay? But my front hand is not. I can use the Koken, okay? Sometimes you see, Solsai said, for general Koken, the thumb goes to the base, not the tip, the base of the middle finger. Often you'll see illustrations of people doing Koken with their thumb on the tip of their fingers. If you do that, it doesn't create the correct shape in the hand to prevent damage. There's a lot of nerves in the back of the wrist. If you're not conditioned or if you're hitting the wrong target, if your hand is wrong, you'll damage your wrist. That's why Solsai was adamant that you take the thumb to the base of the middle finger, okay? So now when you do that and squeeze tight, the whole wrist becomes strong, just like a properly squeezed fist does, okay? One other point he said was your thumb for the upper Koken is at the root of the middle finger. For the side Koken is at the root of the ring finger. More on that on another day. But for now, the point is, don't take your thumb to the fingertip, take it to the finger root, okay? Like that. So we use that Koken. Perhaps we're here, we block, and we need to react really quickly. We don't have the pleasure of a referee. So we blocked away there. I can't get my hand instantly in, so I have the Koken. Block away, Koken. Tensho, see the Tensho movement? I have palm heel there. Tensho, bang, palm heel. But what if I come across here? That's where this movement is in the kata. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Block up, block, 3, withdraw. Now watch. Up, down, and I come here and out. See that? I'm blocking out, but I'm also hitting in. So it becomes a block out, or I change angles, it becomes a hit in. Koken is very powerful. There used to be this strong kung fu style in Singapore called, I think they were called Nam Wah Pai. Look them up. I think, honestly, it's been 30 years since I watched them. But that was before the internet, so I don't even know if I think that's how it's spelt. Or it might be Nam Wah Pai. But anyway, I've watched these guys many years ago in Singapore do a demonstration, and I was intrigued because I had done a few demonstrations early on in my career where I break coconuts And so I got this reputation. They called me the coconut crusher, which I thought was kind of funny, just from a couple of demonstrations. But these guys, that was their thing, man. They would take coconuts and they'd put them on a block and they'd go with Koken. They'd swing Koken like that. And that was their big thing. The whole art was based on Koken strikes. Okay? So Tensho. Do I get off track or what? Doesn't matter because it's all connected. Tensho, from this central spinal movement, you have to soften up. As soon as there's tension and a break in the motion, you've lost the circle and point. It has to be around the spine. There's the movement. And you know that as a whip cracks, the same thing when you have the power at the core, it generates power at the end of the arm. So there's your Tensho. 1, 2, 3. Block up. Again, see the body. Forget about the hand. We know the hand motion. I want you to look and see how the body generates the power in that. Okay? So we want to concentrate. Forget. It's just like when you're on mitts. The worst thing you can do on mitts is try to hit a mitt hard. Okay? Bang, bang, bang. And the mitts just don't work. On mitts, what you're doing is you're looking for rhythm. Ba-ba, ba-ba-ba. Daniel Langworthy, you know, we've done seminars where we actually, remember, we turn the metronome on. We turn the metronome on and we just get people to soften up. You spend the first 3 years of your life in martial arts working on rhythm rather than power. On the 4th year, you'll be knocking people out left, right, and center. So Daniel's done that with me where we actually put a metronome on, tick, 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 and you're just looking for rhythm. Ba, 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 ba. And you'll feel it. You close your eyes and you listen to someone hit the mitts and you'll hear it. But if they put power, if they inject power into it, they start going and they lose the rhythm because they're isolating the technique in the shoulder and arm. But if you generate rhythm through the body, then you start to get that. And if you can imagine that on the mitts, don't try and hit mitts. Next time you do mitts, forget about hitting any further than about 8 inches, 20 centimeters, and you're just going pop, 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 pop. Just tell your partner, just hold the mitts. Pop, 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 pop. Then you can add a little twist for the hook. Pop, 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 bang, pop, pop, bang, pop, 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 bang, pop, pop, bang. You're looking for that rhythm. When you get that rhythm right, then you really generate power. Power is a product of all these other things. We use the acronym BRATS, B-R-A-T-S. What's the time? We're going, I'm getting the word. Wow. We got an hour, have we? That's sick. Okay, BRATS, balance, relaxation, accuracy, timing, speed. That's your acronym for your technique for the first 30 years of your training. Okay, just work on good balance, good relaxation, good accuracy, good timing, good speed. Why accuracy? Because like Wyatt Earp said, speed is good, but accuracy is better. That's why accuracy comes before speed. Okay, in Tensho, we use that central core motion to generate the power in the arms. You see that? I want you to do it when you practice Tensho a little bit. Get away from having to be stiff and doing the technique exactly right. Okay, I want you to play with it a little bit like this. 1, 2, feel that power. 1, 2, let the power come from the core. 1, 2, core up and down. 1, 2, core up, down. Strike. 1, 2, bang, bang. Strike. And back up again with the Koken. Back up with the Koken. Back down and out with the Koken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. And the left hand. Swing it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Up, down, out, and back in. 2 arms. 1, 2, 3. Use your body like this. 1, 2, 3. Use your body as you're bending the spine in and out to generate that power into the arms. Boom, and out like that. Okay? So that, we didn't do a single Tensho kata. We didn't do that single Tensho kata. Oh, you see that? I'm doing an interview online tonight in Poland. Last couple of weeks ago, I did one. There were like 1,500 people listening. I got stage fright. I couldn't speak. I'd spent all week working on my Polish. Not a single word came out. Okay, so we didn't do a single Tensho kata. But what we did do is work on a single Tensho principle. And principles trump technique every time. It's like you teach a man to fish, you feed him for his life. Well, you work the technique of a kata, and that single technique can create an epiphany, go off in your head, and that can affect everything you do in your karate for the next 10, 15 years, based on a single principle of circle and point. And that's why Salso was so adamant. One, circle and point is the key to generating power through the body. And two, the connection between, just to finish off, Enke Gyakski, Shutomo Ashiuke. Look at my right arm. Same here, same there, same here. Okay, and now it's the same in Tensho. So we have those connections building and building. Okie doke. I hope you enjoyed that. I think I probably went a little longer. I thought we were about the 30-minute mark, but we've actually gone an hour. So I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please, I'm going to put this video up. Leave a message on the live feed as well as on the video when I post it. If you got any questions, please feel free to contact me. And is it possible to learn your favorite fighting techniques? Well, that's Raj. Raj, definitely. When the COVID-19 lockdown is finished, I'll get a couple of my students and we're going to put together those techniques for you. Please be patient. For now, work on the deck of cards. Get fit, get strong. Use this time you've got more time than ever, everyone, for flexibility, strength, and work on your technique. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll put some notes down below. And if you did enjoy it, click on the subscribe. And especially the most important thing is please share. Share it to as many people as you can so people know what we're doing. Okay? Thank you very much for this, and I hope you enjoyed it. I love doing it, so I look forward to seeing you. And my nephew Christians just remind me that it's my sister's 70th birthday this weekend, so if I don't get in touch, I think I'm in big trouble. Okay? Thanks, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you. Have a good Easter, a safe Easter. That means no partying. Okay? Stay at home and practice your social distancing. And we'll see you at the other end of Easter on Monday. I'm getting the fast internet next Friday. So between now and next Friday, I'll have to work something out. But anyway, see you Monday at the same time. That's 0500 GMT or 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Time. Thank you very much. Us. Thanks, Raj. Vin, good to see you, buddy. I hope you were there for the whole time because I was doing secret techniques at the very beginning just for you. If you weren't there, I'm sorry you missed out. Okay, thanks, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you Monday. Us.